Has NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers been reading Understanding the End Time? DHS Intel Group, led by Brennan and Clapper, proposed plan to have Americans snitch on their neighbors. We'll discuss all of this and more on Open Line today on the Endtime Show. Welcome to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Today is Open Line Friday, so we're talking about whatever you want to talk about. You have to give us a call. The number to join us is 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. The call screener, Sherry, is in there ready to go, Doug. We had a little pre-show prep meeting, and she's ready to handle the calls, so yes, be nice to Sherry today. People aren't always that nice, Doug.
Sometimes they can be a little rowdy.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
they don't stand a chance against Sherry. I can guarantee that.
Sherry can keep up pretty well. She takes care of herself pretty well.
Yeah, we'll put Sherry in the chats if you appreciate all the hard work she does as the call screener here at the Endtime Show. We have open lines, 877-ENDTIME. And boy, Doug, it sure sounds like Aaron Rodgers has been watching Endtime, and then the Department of Homeland Security is trying to get us to snitch on our neighbors for certain activities.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. We've got a clip coming up of Tucker Carlson and Aaron Rodgers talking. But before we get to that news, there's other news I want to highlight. There was monumental news, actually, that not a lot of people are talking about. For the first time in the history of the United States of America, the interest that we pay on the national debt surpassed every individual budget item except Social Security. That's right. The U.S. now spends more on interest than on national defense or even Medicare. And it's only getting worse as big government continues to spend like crazy. That's why savvy investors, central banks, and concerned savers are turning to gold, something not tied to the inflated U.S. dollar. You can too with the help of Birch Gold. For over 20 years, Birch Gold Group has helped thousands of Americans protect their savings by converting an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. To learn more, visit birchgold.com/endtime and claim your free, no obligation info kit on gold today. All right, you can also put your questions or comments in the chat, Doug. We'll be trying to monitor that. It's open line. We try to prefer the callers, but if questions and comments come through the chat, we'll do our best to answer those as well. So.
Yeah, and we left a few people on the phone yesterday. We weren't able to get to everybody. So if you weren't able to ask your question yesterday, call in today and ask your question today. We'll be happy to talk with you today live on the program.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this story about Aaron Rodgers, it's interesting because actually I got this story this morning. Dave sent me this story, and I thought it was pretty cool as I started to read it because of the things that Aaron Rodgers was talking about. So they say in this article, and this comes from Pink Villa is where this article comes from, but it says NFL star Aaron Rodgers has sparked controversy once more with his tirade against government spying. Rodgers expressed his worries about the widespread use of CCTV cameras and other digital surveillance equipment during a recent interview. He became enraged, the article says, saying, "Get off my computer, get off my cameras, get off my Ring camera," and accusing authorities of going too far. So the article says one thing. The video that we're about to share shows his true demeanor in the interview. So I want you to see this because this is, Vince, one of those things where you've got the media portraying something differently than what it was portrayed as. Now, remember the other day we saw video footage of the president having to be helped off a stage at a fundraiser event for ABC. I think ABC did the fundraiser event. And we saw him being helped off the stage by Barack Obama, then later refuted that that was real with press secretary, I can't remember her name now, the young lady that does the press interviews there at the White House, said that was a deep fake, that was not real footage. So now we've got this story where this leftist news article is printing about Rodgers talking about conspiracy theory and saying that he was enraged when he did this. So I want you to see the video for yourself. Now, if you go and you watch the full-length video, beware, because he does not have Christian language, I guess I should say, or he doesn't.
We've modified the clip.
Yes, we have. And we've had to make some cuts in there, folks.
Yeah, we couldn't share everything because he cusses.
He does cuss.
Occasionally. So if you go watch the full interview, you will not get the edited version that we're sharing. Yeah.
So we're going to now show that edited version.
Leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Yeah, stop spying on me.
Yeah. Get off my computer, get off my cameras, get off my Ring camera, take down all this stupid CCTV cameras everywhere that are watching everything. And because the next step to all of this, people don't realize this, and this is the facts, is China and what's going on there, and social credit scores, and your entire life monitored. Like, that's where we're going. Slowly, Jordan Peterson said, was doing an interview and talked about how does, I can't remember what the conversation was, but I heard him say this. How does corruption take form when it's so obvious? It's slow movements. It's like barely inching towards, total corruption and obedience, where you don't really see it coming. Next thing you know, like, oh, I have no other option but to get a chip in my hand, or have a social credit score that allows me to, fly in a plane. If I don't have a good one, then I got to ride on a bus or a train or a cab, or, I can drive. They want all electric cars. I can just, shut that off at some point because your post on Facebook, kind of violated the government standard here. And also, we're going to freeze your bank account, or only let you, eat at this restaurant. Eat at the, get groceries from this store, not like the nice, organic store. You're going to have to eat this over here, or eat insects.
The Oreo store.
Yeah, we're not far from that if we don't, stand for civil liberties. And people always when I talk about, because I'm always been a big proponent of Ed Snowden, and people are like, well, I have nothing to hide. And I'm like, that is the worst answer, because I don't have anything to hide either. But I want my privacy. And you don't understand. You think the government's just going to stop at what they're doing now? They're not going to stop with this. They're inching closer to being 1984, where they have a set in some sort of TV set in your house that watches you. Make sure you get up and do your 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups. We're going to watch every aspect of your life. We're going to give you a social credit score. We're going to create, it's a great book to read. It was written in 1949. Yeah. And how accurate it is today. Literally, the Ministry of Truth, we literally had a government organization that was censoring free speech and categorizing things as misinformation. There was a Ministry of Truth czar who was making decisions based on what they thought was acceptable language online. And all these fact checking, we're not far from 1949, from that book, 1984, which was written in 1949, if we don't take a stand for our civil liberties.
So Vince, that's why we asked the question, is he watching Endtime? He talked about a mark. He's talking about social credit scores. He's talking about China. He's talking about electric cars being able to be shut down.
We've literally said a lot of those things that he said. Eventually you'll be just having a chip put in your hand. We've been talking about that for a long time, but especially the last several years. So it felt like I was watching a clip of you, Doug.
Well, and did he seem enraged to you, or did that sound like a tirade?
No, it did not seem that way to me.
No.
But I'm probably not qualified as a... Am I middle-aged yet, Doug?
I don't think that you're middle-aged at all.
I'm close, though.
You're getting...
I'm white.
You're getting
I'm
close.
A male.
Yeah.
I was born a male. I'm still a male.
Yeah.
I've got all those things working against me, in my opinion. To those people, don't...
Right.
There's not a lot of value there.
Yeah.
So,
you're right.
I don't know. Maybe he was enraged, and I just don't see it because of all the privilege I've had.
Yeah, it could be. I thought we were about to get something from the sound booth, but I guess not.
Oh boy.
are
I am
middle-aged.
middle-aged apparently.
Okay, there you go. Jim says you're middle-aged.
There you go.
But I mean, you see what we're saying, folks. You get this one-sided news story, is telling you one thing, and then the video footage proves differently. And so it's just interesting. But they call it also conspiracy theory, Vince. Well, we know that a lot of things he talked about are not conspiracy theory. For one thing, we know there is a mark of the beast coming because Revelation 13 tells us that that's going to be how you're going to buy, sell, or trade in the end time. And so we know that that is a prophetic word that's going to come to pass. That is in the Bible in Revelation 13. So apparently Aaron Rodgers has some understanding of Revelation and some prophecy there. But he also talked about the credit scores, the social credit scores, which we've talked about. And we've talked about these 15-minute cities. He didn't mention one of those, Vince, but that's how this social credit score could affect everyone, is if you live in a 15-minute city. So if you're inside your cubicle in your little apartment building that's got everything in it that you would ever need, not to leave or get within 15 minutes outside of your city zone, they could shut you down if they needed to, because even these new apartments, I mean, my kids live in an apartment where the key is really just kind of an electronic key. It's not a real key like you're used to. It's an electronic key. And if that battery goes out on that key, they can't get in their house. Or if the apartments decide we don't want you to have access to your apartment anymore, they can change that key to where the key will not work in your door anymore. And so that's not even a 15-minute city apartment complex. That's just one of these technology upgrades that they have in
key
apartments
fob.
now.
It's so convenient.
Yeah, and so I mean, they could do that now. I suppose they could do that now with gas-powered vehicles if they could get to my little key fob and do something to it to where it wouldn't communicate with the car, and I wouldn't be able to start my car now. But he mentions that with the electric cars as well. So they're calling this conspiracy theory in this article, but is it indeed conspiracy theory if it's happening? I mean, look at what they did. He talked about freezing bank accounts. We talked about that the other day. As a matter of fact, we talked about it with one of our new sponsors and how you can get around that with dealing with a Christian company and not dealing with a normal bank. To where they will not shut your account down because of something you said on social media, or because you are giving money to a cause that they think is going against their cause, and they want to shut you down like they did to the truck drivers in Canada. So he talked about a lot of things there that have happened and are happening, and they're calling it conspiracy theory. So who are we going to believe? Are we going to believe what we're seeing right in front of our eyes, or are we going to believe what they tell us to believe? And so that's kind of the thing.
If you like what Aaron Rodgers had to say in that clip, put Patriot in the comment section. We want to see who all out there, I guess, is thinking like us, Doug, because, boy, a lot of what he said I agree with entirely, and curious how everyone else out there is feeling. It is Open Line Friday. We've got open lines at 877 Endtime, 877-363-8463. Give us a call if you'd like to be on the show with us, or put your comments in the chat. We'll do our best to answer everyone's question today. However, we will prefer the calls that come in over the chat, but we are watching the chat too, so we'll see what happens. Doug, before we go any further, First Cup Coffee, we've got to mention that. People come into the chat and start talking about it. Some of them say things like, I'm drinking coffee, but it's not First Cup. And it sounds like it sounds like they're saying they wish they were. Yeah. And I can guarantee you that you wish you were. If you're drinking coffee, First Cup is our favorite here. It's some of the best coffee you'll ever have. A lot of that is because they roast it and then they ship it within a day or two from Texas to your home. So it's some of the freshest coffee you'll ever have. They're a Christian-owned Patriot Coffee Company out of the great state of Texas. They've got 11 different roasts, each one named after a specific piece of American history. Doug's favorite is the Boston Common, and my favorite is probably the Buzz Armstrong, but I've liked all of them that I've had. I've tried all 11. They're great. You can get one of those roasts by going to firstcup.com. When you use code Endtime, you're going to get 10% off. If you subscribe, they'll give you another 10% off. So you can get up to 20% off when you go to firstcup.com and use code Endtime. So go there today. Check it out. Doug, where do we go from here? You have anything else to say before we move to the phones or the chat?
Well, we've got a couple of calls. We could go ahead and move there. I mean, we've got other things we can talk about if we need to later, but this is their day. Let's hear what they have to say.
All right, we're going to start in Iowa. Sean is watching there. Sean, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Hello, guys, brothers.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Sean?
Hey, my question is concerning AI. I know in the book of Revelation where it says that he gives power to the image to make it speak and talk, and says something about if no one worships the beast, it has the power to kill. I'm wondering from you what your guys' thoughts is if this AI may be related to the image of the beast. Could it be sometime in the future, AI could be the image that is being spoke of in the book of Revelation?
Well, Sean, I believe that you are onto something there. I do think that it could be AI related or involved because, I mean, when we look at history and we see what happened in the book of Daniel, where we have Nebuchadnezzar has his statue and everyone within the kingdom was told to bow down and worship this statue when the music played. Well, I can see them being able to use AI to telecast that in every major city, in every country, everywhere, all at the same time. And when that image comes up, and everybody would have to bow down to it and begin to worship it.
Well, yeah. Also, brothers, you know that we have the technology now to do holograms.
Mm-hmm.
We can do holograms now.
Absolutely.
Too.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could project the AI image to wherever now. You know.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
So I think that could be part of it. We've looked at that, and we think that is possibly how they're going to do that. Of course, they're going to do a lot of other things. It says that the false prophet does miracles before the sight of men, and some of those miracles could be AI related as well, or at least things like, have you ever heard of Project Bluebeam and things like that? They at one point they were, I think they were promoting a Godzilla movie that was coming out, and in Japan they actually used Project Bluebeam to have Godzilla come up out of the ocean, and it looked like the real thing coming up there, and everybody was amazed at that technology. So that may be ways that they're able to do some of the signs and wonders that the Bible talks about too. But of course Satan has ability to copy things and make false miracles, because we see what happened with Moses and with Pharaoh's magicians in Egypt. So, but with the technology we have today, I can see exactly what you're talking about, and I agree with you 100%. That could be what that is, Sean.
Yeah, I'm thinking, guys, that, with our technology so advanced, like Daniel was told that, put away these things, Daniel, it's for future,
Yeah.
And he said that knowledge would increase. Man, guys, look at our technology.
Absolutely.
It's like boomed since the 1900s.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean.
So yeah, our technology is right spot on, probably right where the Antichrist is ready to come into power, and with the technology we have, he could do the whole world with technology.
Yes, sir. Everything seems to be lining up right now at this particular time, so there's no telling what's going to happen next.
All right, Sean, thank you for your call. We appreciate it so much. God bless you. All right, Doug, we're going to go to Washington now. Tom is there. Let's see if this is the Tom that I know from Washington. Tom, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Hey, thank you so much, Vince. Tom Lyman here, and excited to have a moment to say thank you. Endtime is definitely something that I've just started to listen to recently. My wife's been a faithful listener for years, and one word comes to mind, and that's peace. So whenever I sitting there on hold here, I thought Endtime, and I thought the word peace, and I'm putting those two together, just thinking how, even though I'm not one that's really followed or an expert at prophecy and everything, if I listen to the wrong news station and saturate myself with all the things that are going on in this world, it could bring on a sense of fear. But just a little bit I've listened to Endtime, and it's been awesome. So I guess that's a long way of saying thank you for what you all are doing, and keep it up. A question I have for you too on my mind is, what about another trip to Israel? Anything in the plans or thoughts?
Oh my!
I know Israel, a year ago I got to go for the first time. It was the best trip I've ever had in my life. Would love to go again.
An Israel trip question. First of all, Tom was on the show a month ago with Dave. So if you haven't watched that show, you need to go back and watch it. I just put the link in the chat. It's on Endtime Plus, available for streaming 24/7. But are we going to go back to Israel? Doug, what do you know about that? Anything?
Well, I know, and Tom was on the bus with me and Tina, so we had a blast. We had a good time, and Tom's a big guy. I told Tom he had to have my back in some of those places if we got in trouble. He kind of looked at me with big eyes and said, "Man, I'm a peaceful guy." So, but
this ain't the joy hour,
right? But Tom, I'll tell you what I do know. We're probably not going to be able to go this year, and the reason why is because of the things that are heating up north right now with Hezbollah and Israel saying that they're getting ready to go into Lebanon and probably on the ground as well as air attacks. Lebanon, or not necessarily Lebanon, but Hezbollah, the terror group, has been launching missiles into the northern part of Israel since October 8th. And so that's what hindered Dave and them from being able to go up to the Jordan River and baptize folks in the Jordan and things like that. So they don't want to put anybody in jeopardy or in harm's way. And so that's why we're not going to go. They were thinking about going in November because some tours were going, and they said we could go as far as Galilee. And you remember how beautiful the Galilee area was, and we went out on the Jesus boat and how amazing all that was that day. But just a little north of there was where we went to the Jordan River and we baptized people. Well, they've moved people out of that region because of these missiles that were coming in from Hezbollah. So instead of wanting to put anybody's life at risk or anything like that, just off of going to a tour, we're going to hold off for a while. But hopefully this stuff will get over soon and we can get back, because we all want to go back. I mean, we love it as much as you do. And so hopefully maybe by next year, I can't say for sure, but I know this year is looking like a no. So sorry, buddy.
Yeah. No, I understand. And I'll just say again, thank you for the show, and thank you for the trip that we did last year. I was walking those streets and thinking again how safe I felt, how much peace I felt, and I've felt more danger sometimes in my own home streets of the good old country that I've lived all my life. And right. I think about that trip, and of course God was with us. He's always with us, and I had some great tour guides and everything. But I think that's what I'm appreciative of so much in my life these last few years, is just the peace of God that, He's not surprised. He knows the end from the beginning.
Right.
And I just pray that we continue to share that with each other and with others around us, that and if you're listening to the wrong voice too much, you can just live in this constant state of fear. But this is all in the Bible, and it's happened, and I think it's exciting. I've shared with people recently, if anything else, the darker the world, the brighter our light. It's a time to really, saturate ourselves with the Word of God and continue to let that flow out in our conversations, and even in talking about the news. And it's tragic what happens. I understand that. Things that are out of our control, but God knows what's going on, and I just rest easy knowing that He knows our tomorrow. But if I could just again say thank you for the efforts of doing a show every day and talking about these things and speaking into families' lives that good things are happening and God knows the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Amen. Well, thank you for everything that you and Lana are doing there too. And, we showed everybody about the Joy Hour when y'all were here with us, and that's a big deal. There is revival happening within this country in different places in different ways, and you guys are definitely part of that revival. So we thank you guys, because we consider you to be out in the trenches, kind of doing some of the trench work out there, because you're in the world doing that. We have this ability to do this and reach people through the studio and things like that, but you're out there in the world and you're meeting and greeting those people and showing them the love of Jesus. So we appreciate what you do too, Tom.
Amen, amen. I tell you, everybody knows what happy hour is, but Joy Hour, you know what? It's needed, and we need each other. We need God, and we need an atmosphere where we can celebrate life. As long as there's breath, there's hope, and I'm thankful for today, and love y'all. Appreciate you.
Love you too, brother.
All right, love you, Tom. Thanks so much for your call. Doug, we are coming up on a break here, so I don't want to bring anyone else on at this time. I have to cut them off. I always hate doing that as much as people think I enjoy it. Someone posted in the chat, where is Babylon the Great? And they suggested it was Jerusalem.
Well, we know it's not Jerusalem, because Babylon the Great is going to be completely, Mystery Babylon the Great is going to be completely destroyed in the end time, and we know that Jerusalem will not be, because Zechariah 14 tells us that people who survive the Battle of Armageddon, yes, there's going to be survivors of that battle, and the Jewish people that live into the millennial reign, they will have to go to Jerusalem every year to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. And so we know Jerusalem will be intact, and Mystery Babylon is going to be utterly destroyed. So we know that Mystery Babylon is Rome / the Vatican.
Interesting, right?
Isn't it?
Well, that can ruffle some feathers.
Well,
I was just texting with someone earlier today. We talked about some of these pastors that all this stuff is being exposed right now. Mm-hmm. And I was explaining to them about Revelation 17 and what we talk about with the harlot church, and I said, well, if she's the mother of the harlots, that means there are daughters. Mm-hmm. Who are all the daughters?
Yeah, good point.
There's some Catholics in Protestant clothing, but there's a break. We've got to go, Doug. We'll be right back. See you there.
A voice spoke to me and said, I've got something I want to show you. I was so sure God had talked to me, and I was stunned by what I saw.
A direct fulfillment of this over 2,500-year-old prophecy. The United States will stand with Israel.
Why haven't I ever seen this before?
1/3 of humanity will die. What do these beasts symbolize?
The lion, the bear, the leopard.
The combined beast from Revelation 13 represents the end-time government of the Antichrist. Understanding the end time.
Now streaming on Endtime Plus and available to order at endtime.com/UET. Go to endtime.com/UET or call 800-ENDTIME.
What if you could understand Bible prophecy? Dave Robbins, the host of the Endtime Show's TV and radio programs, is holding a free prophecy conference near you. Gain peace and understanding about what the Bible says concerning end-time prophecy. Call 1-800-ENDTIME or go to endtime.com/events to see when Dave will be in a location near you.
Welcome back to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Open Line Friday. We're talking about whatever you want to. The number to join us is 877-ENDTIME, 877-363-8463. Doug, I should say whatever you want to within reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get some calls.
Yeah.
That have nothing to do with Bible prophecy. Today, this show is, we explain current events through a lens of Bible prophecy. Mm-hmm. So if your question falls into that, very vast category, give us a call. We would love to chat with you. I do want to remind you that Dave and Jana Robbins will be in Kingsport, Tennessee this weekend. Dave will be teaching tomorrow and Sunday, the 23rd. And it will be an incredible lesson tomorrow. It is the Green Horsemen in World War III, talking about what's happening in the Middle East and how that is going to expand. Not exactly what's happening in the Middle East is going to expand, but there's a war coming according to the Bible that will start along the river Euphrates. And Dave is going to be talking about that in specific detail and the connection to that with the Green Horsemen. And so it's a very great lesson that you need to hear. Make plans to join us. Kingsport, Tennessee. Go to endtime.com/events or give us a call at 800-ENDTIME. We'll be happy to help you out there.
Yeah.
All right, Doug, ready to go back to the phones?
Yes, let's do it.
Tom was talking about the future. Got me thinking about that big announcement that's coming, but I still can't announce it yet. So if you want to know what that announcement is, if you want me to spill the beans, what should we have them comment, Doug?
Spill the beans?
Spill the beans? Yeah, comment spill the beans. All right, we're going to go to Oklahoma now. Joel is watching there. Joel, welcome to the Endtime Show.
You like cutting me off. I know you.
All right, we are going to Georgia.
He's cut me off in the past.
He has.
He's done it. He's done it before.
He tries to do it out of love.
Oh, with
he
Joel,
I
don't
like to do it, but you can see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it sometimes, Joel. I got to confess.
You do what?
I do enjoy it sometimes. I've got to confess.
Well, yeah, I do. Don't lie about it. Just tell the truth.
That's right.
Always.
Hey, I was going to ask y'all the other day. I'm sitting on top of the bunker right now in the shade. How far in do you think this country's going to go to the beast system? I know chapter 12 in Revelation tells us that we're going to fly a woman to safety, which is Israel, for time and a half a time, but how far in do you think, I just want to know y'all's opinion, how far in do you think we're going to go?
Well, I believe, Joel, that it'll be implemented enough in this country to where people that want to join in on it will be able to do that. I don't think that it'll be fully implemented, because if it were, they'd be able to put sanctions on us where we wouldn't be able to be the wings of the eagle to help Israel in any kind of way. And I know people want to, they get concerned right now because this country is not really backing Israel the way that we're going to in the end time, because this administration is keeping them from getting weapons that they need and things like that because of the protests that are going on. And we're kind of bowing down to the world government right now by telling Israel we're not sending weapons and things like that. But apparently we're going to be standing with Israel during the time of the tribulation. And so we couldn't be fully implemented there, but I think it'll be a worldwide system to where if people want to be implemented in it, they could be part of it. And a lot of people are going to do it because of the convenience of everything, of being able to have that chip or that mark or whatever it's going to be in your right hand or your forehead, where you can just do things so easily and automatically. We've seen a lot of people that have already done things like that, put chips in their hands in this country that unlock their doors and turn on their lights, and they can pay for their bills and buy a soda from a machine. Down here we call it Coke. Even if it's a Dr. Pepper, we call it Coke. So
where I'm from, we call it pop.
I know, you call it pop, so that's why I just kind of said
call it soda pop.
Yeah. So anyway, they'll be able to do those things, and it'll make it easy for people, so they'll want to have that. And people that don't understand what prophecy says, they'll do it. It's kind of like what Aaron Rodgers was saying a while ago. They're going to implement those things to a point to where they're going to make everybody do that. And I was talking to one of the production guys earlier about, bowling a frog. They say you can't throw a frog in boiling water. You got to turn the temperature up slowly so that they don't realize what's going on to boil that frog, or they'll jump right out of that pot. And so that's what they're doing right now. They're implementing things slowly, introducing things slowly to try to get people on there. But as far as us being completely implemented under the mark of the beast or the beast system, we wouldn't be able to be the wings of the eagle that Revelation 12:14 talks about. And, you know, we already have a military base over there that we do military maneuvers. We're the only country in the world that has a military base in Israel and does Israel. We work with Israel through all our different maneuvers and all that. We sell our weapons to them, our planes to them. They modify our F-35. They modify, and so anyway, we work with Israel in the military more than any other nation in the world.
I think they'll try to implement it, and I think there'll be a civil war here before if they trying to get it implemented. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they're like you say, they're slowly. You know, Satan, he implements things slowly. He doesn't give it to us all in one dose because we wouldn't accept it.
Right.
But I don't know. I just feel like they're going to try to throw the switch on all of it, and going to be some bad stuff happen. That's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I don't think we'll be in it at all.
Right. Well, they have talked a lot about that civil war that you're saying. They've even made a movie about it. And even though we can't see that, we don't see it in Scripture. We can't find anything about a civil war in the United States in Scripture. The left talks about it more than anybody. And they're trying to say that that's what Trump would bring if he doesn't get elected, that it's going to cause a civil war. So it just makes you wonder. I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened, and you haven't seen supporters of Trump go out and burn cities and you know, destroy things. When he was convicted of these charges that they've convicted him of, and now he's a convicted felon, supporters of Trump did not go into the streets and begin to burn and rampage and pillage. Where you can't say that about the other side. So
that's right.
You know, we've seen what they'll do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. I just kind of wondered.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you.
Thought I never had got your thoughts on it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. All right.
All right, Joe. We appreciate it.
Love you guys. Don't cut me off till I say that.
All right.
All right. We love you too, Joe.
Love you guys.
Running out of time.
Have a great day, sir.
Thanks, Joe. God bless you. Appreciate your call. We're going to go to Georgia now, Doug. Adrian's calling from there. Adrian, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. How familiar are y'all with the topic of something called, it's an end time thing. It's called gang stalking.
Never heard it before.
Really? It's where people who have demonic spirits in them, they stalk Christians like me. I've never seen them before, and they stalk Christians, true Christians.
Have not heard of anything like that. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I mean, there's people out there that are stalkers, but I have not heard about that before now.
Okay. Thanks for addressing, thanks for taking my call, because I think eventually more people will be hearing about it. I go places, it doesn't matter. I go to the bank, the grocery store, any place, the park, anywhere, and I'm stalked by people that I don't even know them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it started when I was in the library. I don't know if that's when it started, but that's when I started noticing it. I would sit in the library, I would read my Bible, and there were people who, again, I don't know these people, and they would stalk me. So even in church, I was stalked by people that I don't even know. And it's a real thing. There are some of us that talk about it online. It's called gang stalking, 2 separate words.
Okay.
And, you know, it's a little unnerving at first. But then, like I said, I got online, and I realized there were other people experiencing the same thing. And, yeah, so...
Well, thanks for bringing it to our attention. We'll check into it and see what we can find out about it, all right?
Okay, thank you. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
Thank
Andrew.
you.
God bless you, sir. All right, we're going to go to Tennessee now. John is watching there. John, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Hello.
John.
Hey,
Everybody
John.
put John in the comment. It's the John from Tennessee. That someone was asking earlier about you.
Well, I guess I've been the John at my house for a while. So.
There you go.
You look like you're doing good. Excuse me.
God's been good. I haven't been to the doctor yet. I go, let's see, a month from now, but I'm just going there to get medical proof, basically.
There you go.
I already know what the Lord's done.
Anyway, I'm glad to hear it. Good to see it. What was I going to say now? I was more interested in how you guys.
You were asking about our note says you want to ask about the Middle East situation.
Oh yes, the Middle East and the way that things are going.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been paying a lot of attention to who's been doing what, other than Hezbollah throwing their rockets over into Israel, and I haven't heard any more of Iran doing it. But is there any more word about what the rest of the Middle Eastern countries are doing with the other Abrahamic covenants and things?
Well, right now, I haven't seen a lot about the peace agreement and those things. Of course, Saudi Arabia are still saying after this war they're going to sign the peace agreement, so that's the big news, and they're saying they're going to do that. I have seen there was an article that came out today where it says that the UN is going to try to manipulate around the U.S. veto to have Palestine come into the UN as a member state. So that would be a huge thing if that happens. America's been vetoing that and keeping the Palestinians from becoming a member state within the UN. I mean, they don't even have a country right now.
Wouldn't they have to document their borders?
You know, I don't know exactly how that works, to tell you the truth. Dave would probably be a better person to talk to about it, because he probably has a better understanding of what that would imply there. But just that news alone, that they're going to try to maneuver around America's veto to try to get the Palestinians to be accepted in there, is a big deal. But then I also saw today a story that the Hezbollah leaders are saying all this stuff to Israel, like their troops aren't afraid and everything like that. But this big story came out today in Jerusalem Post that said they're getting reports of people who live within Lebanon saying that the Hezbollah terrorists are getting out of there and retreating already, that they're being told by their leaders to get rid of their cell phones because Israel can track their cell phones and find their exact location, and they're being told not to stay the same night or not stay twice in the same place. So if they are camped out somewhere overnight, they're told to move somewhere else the next day, because Israel is tracking every movement and they're running for cover right now. So
that sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So it's a lot different than what we're hearing over here.
That's good. Well, you can't.
John, I'm sorry, we've got to cut you off. We're right up on a break here. Thank you for your call. God bless you. We have open lines at 877 Endtime. Give us a call. We'll be right back.
They that understand what is taking place will instruct many.
Except a man is born again, he can't enter or see the kingdom of God.
I don't care what label you've been given or what label you've given yourself. You are essential. You still matter.
This is a journey, and when we get to the other side of that, that's where our prize is. That's where our reward is.
Endtime is not going anywhere.
Welcome back to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Don't forget, Dave and Chandler Robbins will be in Kingsport, Tennessee this weekend. Go to endtime.com/events to learn more about the venue and the specific details of that conference. You can also call us at 800-ENDTIME for additional details. Of course, I want to also remind you about our summer sale that's going on. You can go to endtime.com/summer to learn more about all of the deals available. One of the highlights there is that Understanding the End Time DVD series is available for a donation of any amount. You're going to get 14 DVDs. A lot of people take groups through this, small groups, Bible studies, all the different things. Some are taking their whole church through this series. You can get those DVDs, take a whole group through for a donation of any amount. That's only available for a limited time. Of course, there's a number of other options there. One is you get your book signed by Dave, Will Islam Rule the World? That's a big question right now. $2 is all that DVD costs. So go to endtime.com/summer to learn more about all the deals that are happening. We're going to go to Oklahoma now. Debbie's watching there. Debbie, welcome to the End Time Show.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, Debbie?
I'm fine, Doug. I've talked to you before. My question is, in a sense, I've talked to you before about the wings of the leopard, the fowl.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's like there's nothing else mentioned about that, correct?
That's right.
Like it does tells about the lion and the eagle's wings, the bear, and it just goes in description about the four-headed leopard, but that it just says the wings of the fowl. And, of course, my mind is like, there's got to be more to that. So I know you've talked about possibilities of the Antichrist and thinking possibly maybe Macron. And I came across this the other day. I don't know whether it was on your program or your deal online or what. But when I was reading about that, it said that Macron is, we know this, referred to as the Prince of Andorra. And that this came about during 1805 under Charlemagne. I've never heard you talk about that situation.
We have actually talked about it on a couple of different programs. We talked about it just a little bit, but we talked about it. It's whoever is the president of France at the time is also the Prince of Andorra, and it's a shared situation with a bishop of that area. So it's ruled by a politician and a priest, basically, or a holy person. So it's kind of like the Holy Roman Empire. It's like a miniature version of that. And Charlemagne actually granted this to this area, this Andorra area, because of their stance when he needed them to stand behind him in a wartime situation. And because they did that, he granted that to them so that they would always have a ruler who was the president of France, and they would always have an archbishop there that would be able to be their religious authority. And so, yeah, it makes Macron another interesting figure. However, he may not be in power much longer from some of the things that are happening there in France. We'll just kind of have to keep a watch on that. I know, I can't remember, Debbie, if we talked about the possibility, we go from Daniel 7 to Revelation 13, where we see the individual beast in Daniel 7, but in Revelation 13, this is a combined beast. And because Daniel 7 does not tell us anything else specific about those wings, it doesn't say like they were plucked out like it does with the eagle. It just says that the leopard had 4 wings of a fowl, and we know that in Revelation 13, it doesn't talk about those wings again. It just says that the world government body has the body of a leopard. So we assume, because we never saw anything happen with those wings will still exist within that leopard. And we know that Macron and Merkel, when she was in as the Prime Minister of Germany, that they met and they re-signed the French and German agreement there, to where they had the Franco-German alliance. And they said what they were going to do is honor that every year. They would have a little ceremony where they would honor that to commemorate their loyalty to one another. So we just believe France will indeed still be a major part of that leopard body. Now, does that mean the Antichrist will come out of France? We don't know that. We just know he comes out of that Europe, and probably the European Union. So that's all I can really tell you right now about that.
I guess since it has so much to do with the Holy Roman Empire,
Mm-hmm.
the Fifth World Empire, that it just seems like, and that it was established back in 1805.
Yeah,
and that he is prince of that now, that there's just something there to me about that, you know?
I'm right there with you. I mean, I when I found that out, I was fascinated. I couldn't believe it. And so I was like, wow, this is crazy. But I also took that to Pastor Baxter years ago. I'll never forget. We were in an airport in Dallas. We were getting ready to have dinner because we had a couple hours before our flight left, and we were getting ready to sit down, and we were at Friday's restaurant. I'll never forget it. And I was telling him about Emmanuel Macron because I'd found all this stuff out, and I was giving him all this information, and he just kind of looked at me and smiled, and he said, Brother Doug, I've got a file cabinet full of Antichrist that people tell me who he is. And so he said, I'll just have to put that in that file. And I said, okay, that's fair enough. But, you know, as time has gone on, he's gotten to be more and more of an interesting character. So we will definitely keep our eye on Emmanuel Macron and see where it goes from there.
Okay, do you have a minute first, or do you need to go? If you all need to go, that's fine.
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, I was looking at his name, and I know I've heard you all say that. Emmanuel meaning God with us, Jean meaning gift from God, Michael meaning who is like God, Frederick meaning peaceful ruler. And then I read this, and it says, well, here's the kicker. Macron means a mark placed over a vowel to indicate that the vowel is long, which we understand that. Then it says Revelation 13 tells us the mark is the name of the beast.
Right. And yeah, I agree with you, like I said, but we will not know for sure who the Antichrist is. He's a great candidate. I give you that. But
Debbie, when we're confident enough to say for sure, we will shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll know one day because he'll be revealed. So.
Are you already on Endtime Plus, Debbie?
I am, and I have been for quite some time.
Okay.
About 8 years now, I think.
I was going to send you the Is Emmanuel Macron the Antichrist video Doug and I did, which, you know, we talked about him for about an hour, talking about a lot of these details that sure makes it look like he very well could be.
Well, I'm teaching right now a class at my church on the prophecies.
Uh-oh. That'll get you in trouble.
Oh, so exciting.
Yeah.
And so are the people. So anyway.
Thanks for your call, Debbie. We appreciate the conversation so much. Thank you for being an Endtime Plus subscriber as well. Thank you. God bless you, Debbie. Doug, I got a new nickname in the chat while Debbie was asking her question.
That's going to get some more hate, Mo.
Vince the Knife Stegall will cut you off at the drop of a cowboy hat.
Vince the Knife.
Yeah.
I prefer the guillotine.
I prefer the guillotine.
Wow.
But,
man, somebody put a lot of effort in that.
They sure did. So there you go. But some people don't like the nicknames either, so I better stick with...
Yeah. I could guess who that might have been. Would I be right?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think. All right. Well, we're going to go to Texas now. Ryan's watching there. Ryan, welcome to the Endtime Show.
Yes. Hello. I'm enjoying your show. Thank you for talking about the end times. It's pretty cool. I just wanted to. It sounds like there's a lot of sincere people who want to know more about the end times. I know everyone has their own kind of perspective on things. I wanted everyone to focus on. I feel like it's a very key verse. It's very important. So please write it down and look at it. Revelation 3:9. Revelation 3:9. That will tell you everything you need to know about Revelation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it very much. Revelation 3:9. Does that come to your memory, Doug?
Oh, yeah.
All right. What do we need to know? This sounds like an important call.
Well, I mean, he's making a point, but I mean, I don't know what his point is at this point, but it's, behold, I will make them the synagogue of Satan and who say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So he's either saying that the Jewish people who are in Israel are not true Jews, that they're the synagogue of Satan, which there are a lot of people. You know, we've told you anti-Semitism is on the rise. I don't know if that's what it was about, because he's hung up now and we can't go back and ask him if that's the point.
For the record, he hung up. I didn't cut him off.
Right,
he
hung up. That's why I said he's making a point, and I think that's what he was trying to say. There are a lot of people that believe that the Jews that are in Israel are not really Jews. But folks, let me tell you something, okay? There is the prophecy of the dry bones, Ezekiel 37. And if you read that prophecy came to pass on May 14th of 1948 when Israel became a nation again. And God knows who his people are. Okay, he didn't put in a bunch of people from the synagogue of Satan in there and then say, I'm going to save all of Israel first. Okay, so we also see what's going on there. If they were the synagogue of Satan, why would God protect them? And we've watched God protect over and over and over. I'm going to share something real quick, Vince, because it's important. And I wish that he would have talked about it in the interview with Dave the other day. But the gentleman who Dave talked to with the IDF, he has, I think, either a YouTube channel. Landon, you might help me in my ears, at TikTok or YouTube, The Golden Report. And he told a story on there that right after all this happened, they were in a kibbutz and they were trying to run the Palestinians out, the Hamas group out, and they were under heavy attack, and they had already had several casualties. And he said that they were out of options, and he said, okay, Jesus, it's your turn. And he said when he said that, he didn't realize that he had the mic keyed on his radio, and a pilot heard that and had one missile left. And he launched that missile, and that missile hit a boulder and ricocheted and blew that boulder to pieces, and it killed every one of those Hamas leaders. And he said that he couldn't believe it, this miracle that happened. And there was a man there that lived in the kibbutz, and after all this happened, he went back to visit that man because he just wanted to talk to him. And he said that man said, I was there that day, and he said there was another guy there with the old man, and he said it just happened to be that pilot that fired that shot. And so he's there with the Israeli pilot that shot that missile. And the old man said, I was there that day. I witnessed that miracle of God. And he said, and we've plowed this field and worked this field all my life, and we don't have any boulders. But there happened to be a boulder that day that missile just hit, and it blew the boulder to pieces and killed every one of those Palestinians. That was God, folks. And God knows who his people are, and he protects his people. And these are not the synagogue of Satan. So that tells you all you need to know.
Man. Doug, it's been a great week here at Endtime.
Yeah.
It's been a great week around the world. God's been doing great things in the world here at Endtime. I can't wait to share some of the things that are developing. Miraculous. Really, Doug, the last 9 months have been miraculous. And so exciting things ahead. God's doing wonderful things, and can't wait to reach this world.
Yeah.
Show people what true Christianity, true conservatism is all about.
Amen.
Go to endtime.com, watch on endtime.com. There's thousands of hours of content available for free because of incredible partners like you that give every single month at endtime.com/give. Consider partnering with us today. We'll see you right back here on Monday.